what do you know? It's my doctor calling me saying I can come in the day before Mother's Day, which was May 9th. And they were like, yeah, come in, you can get induced today. And I was just like right now? And it was like, yeah, like, what time do you want to be here? I was like, I could be here in an hour. And it was like, all right, make sure you eat before you come to the hospital, because once you get here, you can eat. So I'm like, okay. So I called my fiance. I'm like, they called me. They told us we could come in an hour. And he was like, you playing? I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. So he was just all nervous. Like, he went from just being regular to nervous. Then I ate. I forgot what I ate. I was so nervous that I made food and I couldn't even eat it. So I was irritated because I'm like, I'm about to be in this hospital starving, but I'm so nervous that I can't eat. I've never been induced before. Like I said, when I went into labor with my daughter, my water broke. So it was just like super easy. That pain is no joke. I do remember that. But when I got the epidural with my daughter, it took the contractions away, and by the time I went to sleep and woke up, it was time to push. So I got to the hospital. They hooked me up to my IV. They did test me for COVID because everybody has to be tested. They took my fiance's temperature. He's fine. They took my temperature. Then they swabbed the inside of my throat. Now, I know they swabbed the inside of most people's noses, and I was terrified of that because they look so painful. But nope, they did the back of my throat, made me gag a little bit, but it was cool. So then I was having contractions, and they told me, do you feel those contractions? Like, you're having contractions right now. Like, we didn't even start you on your Pitocin. And I was like, no. So I guess my son was coming anyway. He was just coming super slow. So then he was like, okay, well, we're going to get you started on your Pitocin. Your results for COVID came back negative, so you're good. So then they hooked me up to Pitocin. Immediately, my contractions got worse. They were so painful. No, I lied. In the beginning, they weren't as painful when they first gave my epidural, because I remember telling my fiance, I don't want to get the epidural because my contractions aren't painful yet, and I'm going to feel that needle go in my back. And I'm terrified of that. And I'm like, I don't want to feel that. With my daughter, I didn't feel it because my contractions was horrible. So, you know, you focus on the pain more. With my son, my contractions wasn't bad yet, but they kept saying, oh, like, the doctors are free. Do you want your epidural? Do you want your epidural? And I'm just like, I know if I say no, the doctor's not going to be free by the time I say yes. So I'm like, you know what, let me just get it. I got the epidural. What do you know? Felt all that pain in my back. It was disgusting. It's like having a tube inside of your body and somebody like pulling it back and forth. It just feels gross. So I was just like, ugh. And it hurts at the same time. By the time they got the epidural in, they were like, you did good, this and the third, yeah, whatever. Then my contractions got worse. And I'm thinking, okay, this epidural is gonna kick in. It's fine, I'm glad I got it early. No, the epidural didn't work. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, I'm still feeling these contractions in my stomach. It's very painful. My fiance's holding my hand. I'm trying to breathe through it. I'm breathing through it for like an hour. Then I called the anesthesiologist to come back in, and I said, this epidural isn't working. Can we give me another dose of medicine? Okay, so they gave me another dose of medicine. He told me, try to lay back some more, like, because I guess I was sitting up too much. He was like, lay back some more and, you know, see how it goes in an hour. So an hour goes past, I'm still feeling contractions, and at this point they're getting worse. So I turned on my side. My back was killing me. I turned on this side, and when I would turn on this side of my body would be excruciating. Then I would turn on the other side because the epidural was like falling to one side, and then this side would be excruciating. So I'm just like, oh my God, like, can I just sit up? They were like, no, you can't sit up because it's not reaching, you know, my lower stomach to my legs. And I'm just like, well, like, what am I? They were like, listen, we're gonna pump you with some more medicine. So now I'm on my third dose of medicine, and by the time, let's see, hours went past. As my contractions was progressing, I was dilating. It was just really slow. Like, I remember my sister-in-law calling my fiance, and he was like, yeah, she's 1 more centimeter. So now I'm like 5, I'm at 6, I'm at 7. And the doctor, by the 3rd time I got pumped with medicine, the doctor came in. Remind you, it was a lady who put in my epidural. And I went to Abington Hospital. She switched shifts, so I had a guy who came in and was pumping me with medicine all the time that I was in pain. And he said, who put in your epidural? To one of the nurses that was in there. And she told him, and he was like, well, listen, this is the options that we have. We can take your epidural completely out and start over, or I can give you another dose of medicine. I was so upset because the fact that I even got it early to try to be safe, and I'm still in pain, and then you're telling me you want to take it out and then redo it, like that feeling is disgusting to me. So I was just like, absolutely not. Like, just give me another dose. So now I'm on my 4th dosage of medicine, and still didn't work. Nothing. I remember trying to take a nap, but I was in so much pain, so it was like I was in and out of it. And then I was had so much medicine in me, I was out of it, but I was still in pain. And I do remember the nurse leaving out. She was like, you're 9 centimeters, you're almost there. She was like, call me back and I'll be right back. Soon as she left out, literally 20 minutes later, I felt like I had to poop. So I'm like, he's coming. Like, I can feel his head, like he's coming. So the nurse was like, all right, well, we'll call her. Then 20 more minutes go past there. She's still not in the room. So I'm yelling at this point. I'm like, where is she? Like, where's the doctor? Get somebody in here, because I'm about to push with or without y'all. My fiance is holding my hand, and they're like, oh, she's delivering another baby right now. She's almost done. She's almost done. I didn't even care. I was like, well, listen, I'm about to push. As soon as I was like, I'm about to push, she came in. And once she came in, they like, lift up my legs, and they was like, oh my God, his head's right there. And I end up pushing. And surprisingly, my fiance was very supportive, okay? I'm not saying as he shouldn't be. I'm saying, like, with my daughter, he almost fainted. So, like, they had to get him a chair and everything. It was horrible. He couldn't even hold my leg up with my daughter. But this time, like, he was looking. He's like, yeah, his head's right there. Just push a little bit. He's pulling my leg back. He's just, like, really guiding me through it, because also, we couldn't have nobody at the hospital with us. It was just me and my fiance because of COVID. So, he was real supportive for me. And I really think if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got through the whole situation. It was a lot. But yeah, and when my son came out, I did not hear anything. So I'm like, what's going on? Remind you, it's like, as soon as babies come out, sometimes you rub them and then you hear crying. No, I did not hear nothing. Like 3 minutes went past, and I'm like, why is my son not crying? So then nobody's saying anything to me. They're just like rubbing me, and then I see a bunch of nurses over there. My fiance's over there with him. My fiance not even saying nothing. So I'm like, why is he not crying? Nobody's saying nothing. And the doctor, they called some doctor in. The doctor ran over to the baby, so now I know something's wrong. He basically came out not responsive. He was completely blue from head to toe. The doctors ended up coming over to me and telling me it was because he went through shock when he came through the birth canal. And most babies go through that, but he had a little bit hard time coming back to, breathing oxygen. And they eventually got him to breathe, and then I eventually heard him cry. So that was a big relief for me, because I'm like, I ain't go through this for nothing. But yeah, so then they brought my baby over to me, put him on my chest. We did skin to skin. It was really nice. I only pushed for 10 minutes. Same thing with my daughter, though. I only pushed for 10 minutes. He came right out. My son was born on Mother's Day, May 10th. My daughter came out exactly on her due date. So my son's original due date was May 7th. So it was only 3 days late. It wasn't that bad. But yeah, so that was my labor and delivery story. Overall, the pain was the worst part for me Everybody's body is different. Every pregnancy is different. So I can't say, oh, this happened to me and it'll happen to somebody else. That's not true. Because like I said, with my daughter, she was completely easy. I got the epidural. It took a little while to kick in, but once it kicked in, I was good. And then I pushed and boom, 10 minutes, she was out. So the one thing I will say that does help when it comes to delivering, exercise. Even if you don't exercise, if you want to start like towards the end, do it. Any little thing helps. The exercise ball definitely helped when it comes to pushing, because literally they was like push. Whoever I had, the doctor that I had deliver my son, she was like push. Then she told me to stop, and I'm like, stop? Why are we stopping? And she was like, just inch him out, just do little tiny pushes, because she didn't want me to rip. That's another thing. I did not rip. With my daughter, they cut me. And I felt like whoever the doctor was that delivered my daughter, who I also had at Evanston, was rushing me to have her, because there was no reason for them to cut me. Like, and I had to get stitches. With my son, the doctor that I had, she like guided me through it real quick and was like, nope, don't push too hard, inch him out. Boom, he was out. That was it. And I didn't have no stitches. My recovery was super easy. My recovery with my daughter was way harder, because I had the stitches. If you have stitches and you have a baby, it burns, okay? It hurts, it burns, it's uncomfortable, it hurts to sit on your butt. With my son, I didn't have none of that. It was like I went home, that was it. Like, I was good. So I definitely will say every pregnancy is different. Everybody's body is different. So yeah, but that was my labor and delivery. My son came out 8 pounds, 11 ounces. He's the big boy. So that is it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for my next videos, because like I said, I'm going to be doing more things leading up to my wedding. So peace out.